All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Just going to make sure everyone lands safely from the waiting room. So we'll start in just a moment. Hopefully you can see the slide deck and hear my voice and make sure your sound's working. We'll just give it another moment or two. But we will start on time because we know it's a lovely warm evening out there and we don't want to take up too much of your time. All right. I think we've got most folks in, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for being here this evening. You are here for the City Center Catchment Review Virtual Open House. Just a reminder to everyone that this meeting will be recorded and the recording will be posted on the district website where you were able to pre-register for the session. So if you have to duck out early or you have other commitments this evening or you have friends or neighbors that weren't able to make it, the posting of the recording will happen within the coming days. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge as we come together virtually this evening that we're meeting on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Hunkaminam language speaking people. As I said, it's a lovely evening out there. It's very much a late summer, so we will hope to get through our content in good time this evening to get you back outside if you wish to do so. You will see three of us on screen this evening, and we each have different pieces that we'll be presenting to you. So it's my pleasure to introduce Cindy Wang, who is the Secretary Treasurer for our district. My name is Bronwyn Thompson. I'm an Assistant Superintendent, and Jonathan Ho is on your screen as well. He's the Director of the Richmond Project Team. So Jonathan will really be doing the lion's share of the talking tonight, presenting through the two scenarios that we're seeking public feedback on, but you'll hear from each of us at different points of the evening. So just a quick overview of how we'll structure our time together. I'm going to take a moment and just highlight some of those Zoom webinar features that you can use this evening to help with accessibility and participation. Cindy will just go over the purpose and the timeline for the catchment review, as well as talk about how you can give feedback. And then Jonathan, as I said, will do most of the heavy lifting in sharing some information about the new city center school, and then also provide a more detailed overview of scenario 1 and 2, which is what we're seeking public feedback on for the board's consideration for a new catchment area. So a couple of quick tips for Zoom, whether you're on your phone or perhaps you're on your laptop or device, a mobile device this evening. Our webinar does have the ability for you to show captions in the language of your choice. So if you'd like to have a translation feature enabled on the bottom bar of most of your screens, and if you look at the screenshots here, just toggle on show captions and you can choose your caption language. It will not translate the slides that you see on your screen, but it will translate what we're saying. It'll provide captions in a language of your choice. So there's a wide variety of languages available if that's something you would find helpful this evening. There's some little tips on your screen on how to turn those on. You're looking for the little CC button down at the bottom, and then you can toggle that on. The next feature I want to draw your attention to is we will do our best to address the themes that emerge in the Q&A this evening. So there's another button down, likely at the bottom of most of your screens. It's a little question mark in a box called Q&A. If you have a question or you'd like us to spend more time elaborating on something, you can type something in there. And again, we'll do our very best to address those questions and weave it into our presentation this evening. It's not possible for us to answer every individual or specific question. And of course, we want to protect folks' confidentiality, so we won't be answering questions about specific students or family situations. All right, I'll turn it over to Cindy.
Great. Thank you, Bronwyn, for the introduction. And good evening, everyone. The Richmond School District is very excited to announce a new City Center Elementary School will be opening at 8671 Alden Crescent in September 2026. As we get ready for this new school, we're reviewing the nearby school catchments to number one, of course, we need to create a new catchment area for the new school. And we also want to balance the enrollment and help with overcapacity at nearby schools. We want to make sure our schools' resources and programs are used responsibly. And the district, through this process, will endeavor to have students attend schools close to where they live. And we want to give families clarity on where their children will go to school. Our goal ultimately, of course, is to make sure this new school is a great place for all students and a strong part of our community. So the key dates for the catchment review process are outlined on the slide. The process has been launched early September. Between September 3rd and October 27th, feedback will be gathered from the public and the community. In November, all public input will be reviewed and analyzed, and the decision will be made by the board by the end of November. The district is committed to making sure families and community members have clear information and meaningful ways to share their input. We've created several engagement opportunities to gather feedback and ensure it's reflected in our planning and the board decisions. For example, over the last week, each of the city center schools hosted a school-specific virtual open house to walk parents through details and answer questions. Yesterday, we had an in-person open house at McNeil Secondary School, where community members engaged directly with our district staff. Also, we're offering an online survey available in both Chinese and English, so families can provide feedback conveniently in their preferred language. Of course, you can find more relevant information and details and links on our website at sd38.bc.ca/city center catchment review. So this is a quick overview of the catchment review process, and I'm now going to turn it over to Jonathan to talk about the details about the new school.
Thank you, Cindy. Before we get into those catchment review details, let's give everyone a sense of how many students the new elementary school will accommodate and some of the renderings of the new school. Located at 8671 Alden Crescent, we're planning to open this school in September 2026. It has a capacity for 294 students with 13 classrooms. That includes 2 kindergarten classrooms. It will be run as a neighborhood kindergarten to grade 7 program. This is an exterior view of the school with a new color scheme that employs the same recent exterior paint colors of our elementary schools. This is the main foyer entrance to the school. These interior renderings show a typical classroom and the proposed library learning commons in a large open concept space. A typical classroom showing collaborative stations for students, the millwork, and the whiteboard against which teacher can project teaching materials. In the library, you'll see that there are permanent bookshelves between the columns and along the wall, and rolling bookcases perpendicular to the length of the library. These rolling bookcases can be moved to create different learning environments. All right. The board is required by the School Act and policy to create a catchment for the new Alden Crescent School. To seek meaningful feedback, staff have worked on 2 scenarios for the public to provide input on. These scenarios were developed with both short and long-term planning in mind as the City of Richmond continues to build more residential units in city center. Feedback collected from the public on both scenarios will be reviewed by staff and provided to the board for their consideration when determining the Alden Crescent catchment and the revised catchments of the 4 affected city center schools: Breakhouse, Cook, Tommy, and Tomset. Before we begin the review of the scenarios, this is a map showing the existing city-centered schools and their catchments, with the new school shown as a star. 8671 Alden Crescent is situated in the middle of the existing Tomset catchment, and you can see its location relative to Breakhouse, Cook, Tommy, and Tomset. Also shown are the utilization rates for our 4 existing city center schools from the 2024-25 school year, and the projected utilizations for the 25-26 school year without Alden Crescent's capacity accounted for. As you can see, all 4 city center schools are expected to be over capacity. 3 of the 4 schools, Breakhouse, Cook, and Tomset, are expected to be over capacity, while Tomset is nearly at capacity in these projections. All right, the following is the proposed scenario 1 for the new city center catchment. The proposed Alden Crescent catchment in this scenario is west of Garden City, north of Westminster Highway, east of Minaroo Boulevard, along River Road, and south of Canby. Scenario 1 proposes adjustments to the existing catchments of Breakhouse, Cook, and Tomset to create the new new school catchment. Catchment is not affected in this scenario. The western portion of the current Tomset catchment between Garden City, Lansdowne Road, Canby, and River Road would be reallocated to the new Audlin Crescent School. The northern portion of the current Cook catchment between Westminster Highway, Lansdowne Road, Minaroo Boulevard, and Garden City would be reallocated to the new school. The northeast portion of the current Breakhouse catchment between Minaroo Boulevard, Number 3 Road, Westminster Highway, and Leslie Road would be reallocated to the new school. Projected 2026 enrollment for the proposed changes to Breakhouse, Cook, and Tomset catchments to the new school is shown in the yellow boxes, with the total projected enrollment at Audlin Crescent at 294 students. This represents students that live in the portions of the affected Breakhouse, Cook, and Tomset catchments that are eligible to attend the new City Center School in 2026. A final adjustment would help balance the catchment between Breakhouse and Cook by reallocating a portion of the current Breakhouse catchment between Granville Avenue, Westminster Highway, Number 3 Road, and the residences between Minaroo Boulevard and Minaroo Park, Cook. Overall, Scenario 1 will result in the projected enrollments of all 5 schools as shown in the green highlighted numbers for 2026. For reference, the operating capacities of each of the schools are provided. The projected enrollment for 2026 will put Audlin Crescent at capacity, Tommy at slightly below capacity, with Breakhouse, Cook, and Tomset expected to be over operating capacity. Note that when modular additions and portables are included, Breakhouse, Cook, and Tomset can meet our projected 2026 enrollment needs. This table shows the 2025 school year enrollment at Cook, Breakhouse, Tomset, and Tommy. Scenario 1 with Audlin Crescent shows that we are projected to be at near capacity for 3 of the 5 city center schools in the 2026 school year and over capacity at 2. Our facilities planning staff have also looked at projected enrollment through 2030. And as you can see, all 5 city center schools will be over capacity if the Scenario 1 captains are approved by the board. At this time, are there any questions about Scenario 1?
Hi, Jonathan. Nothing at this point. I think you're doing a great job of explaining it. I think maybe to head on to Scenario 2, and then folks can indicate if there's something they want clarified. Thank you.
Sounds good. All right, on to Scenario 2. Scenario 2 proposes the new city center school catchment to be west of Garden City, north of Ackroyd Road, east of Gilbert Road, along River Road, and south of Brown. This differs from Scenario 1 in that less of the existing Cook catchment is affected, a different section of the existing Breakhouse catchment is proposed, and a southern portion of the existing Tommy catchment is reallocated to the new city center school. Scenario 2 proposes adjustments to the existing catchments of Breakhouse, Cook, Tomset, and Tommy to create the new school catchment. The western portion of the current Tomset catchment between Garden City, Lansdowne Road, Canby, and River Road would be reallocated to the new Audlin Crescent School. This is the same as in Scenario 1. A portion of the current Breakhouse catchment area in the northeast between Elmbridge Way, Ackroyd Road, Gilbert Road, Alderbridge Way, and Number 3 Road would be reallocated to the new city center school. The northern portion of the current Cook catchment between Ackroyd Road, Lansdowne Road, Garden City, and Number 3 Road would be reallocated to the new Audlin Crescent School. A portion of the current Tommy catchment between Garden City, River Road, Canby, and a northern border running between Capstan Way and Sweet Avenue will be reallocated to the new school. This accommodates the expected enrollment growth spurred by the newly completed Capstan station on the Canada line. Projected 2026 enrollment for the proposed changes to the affected 4 city center schools to the new school is shown in the yellow boxes, with total enrollment at Alden Crescent at 292. This represents students that live in the portions of Brickhouse, Cook, Tomset, and Tommy that are eligible to attend the new city center school in 2026. A final adjustment is made to balance the enrollment between Brickhouse and Cook, reallocating a portion of the current Brickhouse catchment between Granville Avenue, Westminster Highway, Number 3 Road, and Mineru Boulevard to Cook. Overall, Scenario 2 will result in the projected enrollments of all 5 schools as shown in the green highlighted numbers. For reference, the operating capacities of each of the schools are provided. Projected enrollment for 2026 will put Alden Crescent at near capacity, Tommy at below capacity to accommodate projected future enrollment growth, while Brickhouse, Cook, and Tomset are expected to be over operating capacity. Note that when modular additions and portables are included, Brickhouse, Cook, and Tomset can meet our projected 2026 enrollment needs. In this table, we show the 2025 school year enrollment at Cook, Brickhouse, Tomset, and Tommy. Scenario 2, with Alden Crescent, shows we are projected to be at near capacity for 2 of the 5 city center schools in the 2026 school year, and just over capacity at 3. Our facilities planning staff have also looked to projected enrollment through 2030. And as you can see, all 5 city center schools will be at over capacity if Scenario 2 catchments are used. All right, at this time, are there any questions about Scenario 2?
Hi, Jonathan. Nothing yet. One question that came through was just clarification of how will the board and staff consider the difference between scenario 1 and 2, and our response to that is that that's really the essential piece of the public feedback. And so staff have identified these 2 scenarios as viable in terms of using the capacity of the new city center school and alleviating the pressures on the side 4 or the adjacent 4. But really, this is the purpose of the public feedback, is to come to you in the community and ask you to please, look at the 2 scenarios. What do you see? What makes sense? What do you notice? What feedback do you have that you would like staff and the board to consider? So just as we move towards the conclusion of our open house, we want to remind you that public feedback is open until October 27th. So please give us your feedback through the survey. All submissions will be analyzed by staff and shared with the board in terms of considering how the catchment will be established. And just a reminder, if you logged in a little bit late, again, this will be recorded and posted on our website. But survey is available in English and Chinese. There are open text boxes for the public to give feedback on specific aspects of the 2 scenarios or things that you see that you want to ask questions about or that you'd like staff and the board to consider. So please make sure that you take the time to fill that out. If you've already submitted one and then tonight, after hearing Jonathan go through it, you have additional thoughts or feedback, please feel free to submit another. We really want to make sure that we collect all the feedback from the community and from our families and partners and community members. So please feel free to fill that out again. So the QR code will take you there. It's also right on the landing page of our school district homepage, and the recording to this session will also be posted there. So I just want to, Jonathan, I think you've addressed everything that's come up. I just want to thank you so much for going through everything tonight. And Cindy and Jonathan, is there anything to add as we close out the evening for our audience?
Nothing for me, just that we really value this feedback. It'll be an incredibly important part of the evaluation of these 2 scenarios for the board.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So at this time, we're really looking for feedback on the 2 scenarios and on the map. Let us know what you think. If you have additional questions or things that you'd like the staff and the board to consider, please feel free to note that in your feedback. And we appreciate you giving up your time to be here tonight. Thank you so much, and enjoy the evening. Take good care, everybody. Thank you for being here.